All right, what is going on, guys? It is Brett, and I'm here with another movie review. I'm here to talk to you about Fast X. And if you watch this channel, if you watch Pop Culture Crisis, you know that I am an unapologetic Fast and the Furious movie stan. I love all of the films to varying degrees, but I do love all of them. But Fast X is my favorite since Fast 7. I got a lot of reasons why, and I will get into it, but let's talk first about the synopsis of this movie. In the film, Jason Momoa is here to give one of my favorite performances in a very long time. He plays Dante Reyes, the son of Hernan Reyes from Fast 5. He is here to avenge his father's death with one of the most over-the-top, campy, flamboyant performances I have seen in a long time, and it works. It works so well in this movie. We are going to get into that. He is there to get revenge on Dominic Toretto and his crew, and Vin Diesel gives another performance in this film, which I'm going to get into. I had a bit of a revelation in this movie as to why I think this franchise is still going, why I think it still works despite some stumbles here and there. Again, spoilers. I am going to talk about spoilers here. This film is absurd. It's over the top. It's absurd. There are contrivances. There are coincidences. There are things that make very little sense, especially if you actually think about them. It doesn't matter. This is golden summer blockbuster fare. CGI is ridiculous. There is no such thing as physics in this universe. All of these characters are essentially superheroes now. But now I get to tell you why I think that's okay. See, in Fast 8 and 9, as it got more and more absurd, it was in Fast 9 where it hit the roughest period for me. That's my least favorite of all of these films. In that film, Tej and Roman have this discussion where they're essentially AI. They're essentially human artificial intelligence reaching sentience, where they have become self-aware and they're like, I think we're superheroes. I hated that. I hated everything about that, because you need the characters in these films to take it just seriously enough for you to buy into the absurdity of it all. And that's where I had my realization today, guys. I realized that as much as I want to talk to you about Jason Momoa's awesome performance, it's really Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto that has allowed this franchise to continue to grow. In these films, in a lot of movies like this that become increasingly absurd, the characters become increasingly absurd with it, which then makes it harder for the audience to buy in. And there is certainly an element of that in this franchise. You get characters like Tej and Roman who have these sort of self-referential discussions about whether they think they're superheroes and all of the talk of family in this. But it's Dominic Toretto, it's Vin Diesel's ability to play his role entirely straight and give you a serious performance from start to finish that allows you, the viewer, to see all the absurdity going on around him and buy in. There's a moment early in this film where him and Helen Mirren's character and Helen Mirren elevates any bit of dialogue she gives in any film, obviously. So you give her dialogue for a film like this and she's going to knock it out of the park. It kind of showed me why it is that these movies are still going, because I'm watching them have this serious discussion about how he will do anything to protect his family. And there's no wink and nod. There's no nudge, nudge. He's playing it as if this is a grave threat to everything that he cares about. And because he does that, you can watch the physics fall apart. You can watch Jason Momoa's character of Dante do things that make no sense and come to conclusions that make no sense, be in more places than you could possibly expect a person to know where to be all at once. All of these things that have become tropes of the superhero genre, you can buy into it here, because when you watch Vin Diesel give this performance, he's playing it straight, and that allows you to buy in. I really do believe that. Now, Jason Momoa is the other person here that really gets the MVP award to me. This dude looks like he's having the time of his life playing a supervillain, and that's what he is. Just like I said, I think it was Honest Trailers that called it Carvengers. It really is. They're superheroes, and Jason Momoa is playing a supervillain. He's obviously played bad guys before, but much like Roman Reigns, I don't know if anybody here watches pro wrestling or ever did, Roman Reigns was kind of always booked by WWE as a blue chipper babyface. He was forced to smile all the time and they made him try to be The Rock when he couldn't be The Rock. They tried to give him anything but what the guy actually was. And when they finally let the guy become a villain, when they finally let him become a heel and just be the kind of cocky badass dude that he actually is in real life, he kind of found his character and got to be what he wanted to be. In a similar way in this fashion, I feel like Jason Momoa, to me, just from in the outside looking in, looked like a dude who'd been waiting for the chance to do a role like this his whole life. He's chewing the scenery. He's got these over-the-top flamboyant costumes, which A+ to whoever designed that whoever his costume designer was, because every outfit is over the top and very, very noticeable, catches your eye right away. It gives him instant screen presence, and his mannerisms are over the top. I don't know if anybody here ever watched the show Lie to Me. This is a deep cut from like 2010 network television. It starred Tim Roth. In that show, he plays a guy who reads micro expressions, and he would interview suspects. And in the show, he kind of had this over-the-top way he would move his hands and walk. And it was very subtle early on, but it was noticeable. But as the show went on, it got over-the-top and flamboyant and very, very noticeable. And Momoa was doing that the whole time in this film, and it looked like he was having the time of his life. And I love to see it. It was really, really good. Also, the cast. Another reason on top of the fact that I believe that Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel playing it straight makes this franchise work, is that they have found an unbelievable amount of extremely gifted actors who get to drop into this franchise, which seems tailor-made to give people a fun time at work. Like, they get to come in and they get to have these fun roles in an era now where Hollywood is increasingly serious, increasingly focused on giving you messaging, increasingly focused on activism and all of these things that are so far away from what Hollywood used to be during the summer, which is summer blockbuster season where you get to go watch a popcorn flick to get out of your head. These actors get the chance to come back and do that. And you really think of the people who they've been able to get in these franchises. Off the top of my head, who do you got? I took notes, but I'm going to try to do this without looking at it. So you got The Rock, you got Jason Statham, you got Helen Mirren, you got Charlize Theron. Who else do we get? This film, we get Brie Larson, we get Alan Ritchson, we get John Cena back. John Cena gives a fantastic performance in this film. He gets in two places, right? So when he comes in, he gets to give you the badass action hero type performance that's befitting of a man of his physique and stature, and then he gets to switch immediately in to this sort of quirky character that he wasn't in the previous film that really leans into what John Cena has proven himself really good at. And I think he's done an excellent job of picking good roles that lean into what he does best as an actor. Obviously, he might be one of the best ones to come from the pro wrestling world, him and The Rock. Other actors that are here now, we've got Alan Ritchson, who is the living embodiment of the Chad meme. The dude is just designed to be an action hero, and I hope that that's what he leans into as an actor. Look, we've gotten away from the Stallones and the Arnies in the action genre. We still got The Rock these days, but in a lot of ways it feels like Chris Pratt is what Hollywood sees as your average action hero these days, a la, Jurassic World. Like, they're looking for the everyman, but in a film like this, you don't want the everyman. You want the dude who looks like a superhero. His acting is on par, it works, but it's his ability to look like someone who belongs in this universe that makes it work. So he does really good. Even Brie Larson does a good job in this film. This is not Captain Marvel just dropped into a Fast and the Furious film. She's got her own story. She does a good job in her role. The pace of this film is fast, and I enjoyed that a lot. The CGI ranges from below average to good to above average. It runs the gamut throughout. It felt like there was less gear shifting, but I could just be imagining that in a lot of ways. There's so much absurdity in the visuals, but like we've said before, if you're going into a Fast and the Furious film to look for something that makes sense, I would say that is more on you than it is on the filmmakers, because they are not ashamed of what they've turned these films into. And I think in a lot of ways, they don't get a lot of credit for that. They were able to successfully take a franchise that was one thing, turn it into something else entirely, and allow it to grow into something new. And I don't think that that's necessarily always a bad thing. I understand the argument that we need less sequels in Hollywood. Maybe that's true. Maybe it isn't. As long as the films are fun, I'm going to still keep coming back for it. We get a cameo from Paul Walker's daughter in the middle of the film that was done very, very well. If there were weak parts in this film, I would say I would have liked to have seen more of Jordana Brewster. I would have liked to have seen more of Mia. Letty did fine in this film, but I felt like her and Cypher were a bit of a tacked-on storyline that could have been more efficiently incorporated into the main story. It really was a worldwide experience, meaning that you were constantly getting like large new location header cards because they're all over the place. So geographically and timeline-wise, it's a little bit hard to follow in certain places, but the pace of the film is so fast that I don't think it really bothers you, and it doesn't stay too long on the stuff that that they know people aren't there for. It gets back to the action very, very quickly. Another reason to go see this film is that you get to see Pete Davidson get punched in the face. That alone might be worth the price of admission for you. I don't know. One thing Hollywood seems to have lost lately is the concept of giving the people what they want. In an age in Hollywood now where they're increasingly focused on lecturing you and I, in being overly sanctimonious, there isn't a lot of desire from them to make movies that they know the average person wants to see. They want to make films that they think of as high art, films that they think have some great social message that's going to change the world because they think very highly of themselves. What they forget is that that's not what you and I, the average everyday person, wants to see. Not in a summer blockbuster. What we want is to go see some fun action scenes, see some fun, quirky dialogue with some great characters. We want to be entertained. We do not want to be lectured. This movie does not lecture you. This movie does not try to be something that it's not. That is something worth supporting. It's fast-paced, it's got heart, it's got action, it's got everything you need in a summer blockbuster. I think everyone should go and check out Fast X this weekend. It's going to be one of, I think they said there might be 3 parts in this series. As long as they still keep making them fun, I'm going to keep coming back. I think you guys should go check it out as well. I got more reviews for you coming soon. Talk to you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.